Good evening, everyone online, and good evening. Thank you for joining us. Let us start. Before we do the puja, perhaps we can take a moment, just to arrive here in this space on the cushions, trying to leave our worries outside and become fully present for the puja, for the session. We can do that by taking 3 deep breaths. Every time we inhale, trying to refresh our attention. Every time we exhale, trying to relax. Now, to further increase our concentration, let us do a short shamatha practice. I'll just quickly summarize the instructions for shamatha in case some of us have not done this before. So there are 4 main instructions. The first one is to look at the body posture. Ideally sitting on the floor. If you're sitting on the chair, that is perfectly fine. Just make sure you're not leaning against the support of the chair, not leaning forward either. On the floor, the best is to sit in the full lotus posture. That might be a little bit difficult, so make sure you're not pushing your body. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. You can simply sit cross-legged or half lotus or even Burmese style with one leg in front of the other. If you're sitting on the chair, the best would be if both your feet are flat on the floor. And if the floor is too low, then you could add a cushion, so that both of your feet are flat. The hands, we place them traditionally in the dhyana mudra, the concentration mudra. You have your right hand on top of the left. The 2 thumbs are slightly touching, and this rests in your lap. Allow some space between your arms and your body. The body is upright, the back is straight but not stiff. You remain flexible, you can easily turn from left to right. The shoulders are even and relaxed. The neck is aligned in the continuation of the spine. You can very gently tilt the head forward, not too much. You can place your tongue just behind your upper teeth towards the upper palate. This helps reduce the production of saliva. And finally, the eyes, we keep them slightly opened, allowing some light to enter, helping us to stay alert. But we are not paying attention to whatever appears in front of our eyes. It is the mental consciousness that meditates. You can simply gaze in the space in front of you, 1 or 2 meters in front of you, about 45 degrees cast down, but not paying attention to what appears to your eyes, trying to focus on the mental consciousness exclusively. This posture is known as the Buddha Vairochana 7-point meditation posture. And out of the 7 points, the most important is for the body to be upright. Second instruction for shamatha practice is the object of meditation. What are we actually meditating on? If this is new for you, what I would recommend is to use the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils. Try to place all your attention there. And not specifically at the body part as such, the entrance of the nostrils, but the sensation of the breathing As you breathe in and out, you might feel as you breathe in a little bit of cooler sensation is happening. As you breathe out, perhaps it's a little bit warmer. Try to focus on that. You can also count your breaths if that helps you to remain focused. Third instruction is that when we meditate, we tend to get distracted. Our minds are completely unsubdued. And especially, I think, in this day and age, with all these screens, technologies, with all these notifications here and there, very difficult to concentrate single-pointedly. So what happens, we are trying to focus on the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils, but very quickly the mind starts to get distracted. And there are two main ways we tend to get distracted. The first one is called mental excitement. Basically, we are distracted with thoughts, mostly thinking about the past or the future, something that happened this afternoon, or thinking about dinner after the session, or something like that. Therefore, we are not focused on our object of meditation. The second way we tend to get distracted is with mental laxity, or dullness, or lethargy. We are not putting enough application in our meditation, and the mind starts to sink. We fall asleep, and therefore we also lose our object of meditation. We start daydreaming, for example. So the last instruction is good news, is that there are two antidotes that we need to use to counteract these distractions. The antidotes are called introspection and mindfulness. These are tools that we need to train in to develop our concentration. Introspection is like an agent in the background of your mind that is checking, what is my mind doing? Is it meditating? Is it focused on my object of meditation? Or is it distracted with excitement or lethargy? And the moment introspection notices that the mind is not concentrated, we make use of mindfulness. The role of mindfulness is to bring the mind back onto the object of meditation, making sure it remains there, focused. I always use the analogy. You can imagine if you have a pet dog at home and the dog runs away from home. Introspection notices that the dog is gone. Mindfulness brings the dog back home, and you can also imagine tying him against a pillar so that the dog remains at home. It's a little bit similar to what we are trying to do with our mind. So let us try that for about 5 minutes, trying to remain on our object of meditation, making sure introspection is constantly checking in the background of the mind, and every time introspection notices the mind is gone, making use of mindfulness to come back to the object. 5 minutes. gently come out of the meditation. Now that our minds are hopefully a bit more focused, let us generate a good intention, a good motivation for this session, for this Medicine Buddha Puja. The Medicine Buddhas in the past, when they freshly generated the awakening mind, bodhicitta, they made strong prayers that whoever calls them, whoever asks them for help in degenerated times, which are the times we are going through right now, then they will immediately come and help. So in this day and age, the practicing medicine Buddha is the most powerful practice in the sutric system, most powerful sutric deity. And especially it helps for people who are going through sicknesses or people who recently passed away, people who are having obstacles in their lives. So tonight we'll especially dedicate this puja for your mother. What's her name again? Ashi. And I think Divya, also your grandmother, right? Passed away 50 days ago. Divya, what is the name of your grandmother?
Sudha.
Sudha.
Sudha, yes.
Sudha, okay.
Sudha
So we dedicate for her this puja, as well as Venerable Ingrid, who also passed away a few days ago. Venerable Ingrid, she was a nun who served so many years, or offered service so many years to Lama Zopa Rinpoche, Lama Yeshe. And we also dedicate a puja for Adriana, who is running a Maitri Charitable Trust in Bodh Gaya. She had a stroke a few days ago. She was just discharged from the hospital. But yeah, let's see. Let's continue praying for her. Now she has to go all the way to Italy for some paperwork. So may she not have any obstacles, and may your mother recover very quickly, and Divya, your grandmother, may she have, and Venerable Ingrid as well, may they have very soon, may they find a way of a very good rebirth where they can continue receiving teachings and working on their minds so that they can purify all the mental veils and achieve a state of total peace, a state of nirvana and full awakening very, very quickly. So this is the specific motivation for this puja, praying for the near and dears we know who are going through sicknesses, who recently passed away, who are having obstacles. And now let us also try to generate a motivation of bodhicitta for this session. Bodhicitta is the awakening mind. It is the wish to achieve the state of full awakening, the state of a Buddha, in order to be of the best benefit to all sentient beings. Now, why do we want to do that? It's because we recognize that all sentient beings, including ourselves, since time immemorial, since beginningless time, are circling, taking rebirth again and again and again in cyclic existence or samsara, without any control, going from life to life to life, sometimes born as a human, sometimes born as an animal, sometimes born as a preta, or without any choice. And in all these lives, going through different experiences, again without any choice. All these rebirths and all these experiences that we are having are dictated by the contaminated karmas that we have accumulated since time immemorial, engaging in actions that are most of the time negative. Let us try to generate a sense of compassion for ourselves and all sentient beings who are, since time immemorial, circling in samsara, like trapped in the prison of the mind. At the moment we might have quite a good experience in samsara, being born a human, having a roof above our heads, food, clothing, education, and so forth. But let us see all the beings who are circling in samsara, what they are going through. We can see with our own eyes people suffering from poverty, people suffering from sickness, people living in countries that are at war. We can also relate to animals because we can see them, what they are experiencing. Animals living in the wilderness, for example, constantly living in fear of being hunted by other animals. Even when they are sleeping, they are not completely at rest. It's like there is a corner of the eye that is checking. Is a predator coming or am I safe? Can also relate to the animals that are raised in this world for humans to eat, how they are treated. We can think, for example, of the chickens for the KFCs, how thousands of them are living in very tiny spaces. Even their beaks are cut so that they don't, kill each other. Can you imagine what it must be? What kind of life that must be? Just waiting to be sent to the slaughterhouse. Try to generate a sense of compassion for them, but also for you, having gone through these kind of rebirths numberless times in the past and numberless times in the future, unless we put an end to this. Why are we circling? Why are we not having control over our experiences? The very root of all of this, the very root of all our problems, the root of samsara, the root of misery, the root of suffering, is this misconception that we have in our minds that is called self-grasping ignorance. Basically, we are apprehending all phenomena, including the self, as existing very solidly, as existing inherently, as existing objectively, independently from anything else. As if things were solidly real out there, in and of themselves, independent from our minds. And because of that, we have a very strong sense of I, me, myself. We have the impression that we are the center of the universe. We have the impression that we are more important than others. If we check, there is absolutely no logic behind this, because all beings, just like myself, want to be happy, don't want to suffer. So there is no reason to consider this I more important than others. Because we have this impression, all sorts of disturbing emotions come about, all sorts of mental afflictions, negative emotions, delusions arise, such as anger, hatred, attachment, excessive desire, jealousy, pride, sadness, depression, anxiety, and so on and so forth, you name it. The Buddha talked about 84,000 of those kleshas in Sanskrit, afflictions. And because of these afflictions, we are constantly engaging in actions, constantly accumulating karmas in Sanskrit. And most of these are negative. We want to cherish this I more than anything else, so we are ready to do anything for the comfort of that I. So in the past, countless times we've engaged in actions such as killing, stealing, abusing, cheating, lying, gossiping, speaking harsh words, and so on and so forth. And it is because of these actions, because of these karmas, that we sometimes take rebirth in unfavorable states, such as animals or pretas, for example. And even when we are born a human, or a sura, asura, we can experience pain, misery, we can have events in our lives that are unpleasant because of the negative karmas we have accumulated in the past. Now even the good actions we engage in, such as helping others or practicing generosity, for example, even though they are positive karmas, they are contaminated, positive karmas, contaminated virtues, contaminated by this self-grasping ignorance. When we give food to a beggar, for example, or we give a note to a beggar, we do so with a strong sense of I. Solidly real I is giving, solid action of giving to the solidly existing beggar out there. So yes, it is a positive action. And it will give rise to a pleasant experience. That is the law of cause and effect. But this pleasant experience will take place within samsara, within conditioned existence, within cyclic existence, meaning we don't have a choice. What will ripen first? Positive or negative karmas? We don't know. We don't have a control over our experiences. Let us try to generate a sense of compassion for ourselves and all sentient beings, wishing for all sentient beings, including ourselves, to be free from suffering, totally, to be free from the causes of suffering, the contaminated karmas, and the afflictions. And let us try to take this compassion a step further. Let us try to generate a sense of responsibility, considering that at the moment I have what is called a precious human rebirth. Not only am I born human, which is extremely rare. If you just look at the scale of this planet, 8.2 billion human beings. If you compare that with just the number of ants that are living on the planet, countless ants, trillions of ants, uncountable numbers of ants. So the humans, just compared to the ants, look like very few. It is said that if we look at the number of humans and compare that to the animal realm, the human realm looks as if it is completely empty compared to the animal realm. Even though there are countless humans, And if you look at the animal realm, even though there are countless animals, the animal realm looks completely empty compared to the predator realm. And even though there are countless predators, if you look at the number of predators compared to the hell realms, the predator realms looks completely empty. So try to see how rare it is to be born as a human being. But we are not only born as a human being, we are born with many favorable conditions, having our mental and physical faculties, able to think, able to learn about the mind. Not only that, we have an interest to look inwards, an interest to look at our mind, an interest to look at our present condition, an interest to listen to the teachings of the Buddha, to contemplate and meditate on them. This is extremely, extremely rare. In a busy city like Delhi, I think it is easy to see about 30 million human beings in Delhi NCR, and how many made the effort, to come, to practice meditation, to look inwards, to look at their minds, to accumulate merit, to purify. Very less. So let us try to generate a sense of responsibility for all the beings who don't have the opportunity to look inwards, to transform their minds, to purify, to eliminate their negative karmas and afflictions. All the beings in the lower realms, but also all the beings in the higher realms who are too busy or don't have an interest, too caught up in the illusions of samsara, constantly running after ephemeral pleasures. Let us generate a sense of responsibility for them. Not only may they be free from suffering and the causes of suffering, but I myself will free them from suffering and the causes of suffering because of the opportunity that I have right now. Now, how can I do that? Myself being trapped in the prison of the mind, the prison of samsara. Myself experiencing the results of the negative karmas I've accumulated in the past, and the positive karmas that are ripening. Myself being under the control of the afflictions and the self-grasping ignorance. So how can I help others? If we look in the history of humanity, there was one being called Prince Siddhartha, who showed the path, who showed the way how, out of unbearable compassion for others, we can gradually eliminate all our mental veils, all our afflictions, purify all the karmas. Out of compassion, repeatedly meditating on the direct antidote to all our problems, the direct antidote to the self-grasping ignorance, by meditating on the emptiness of objective existence, of all phenomena including the self, meditating on the emptiness of inherent existence, of independent existence of phenomena. By repeatedly seeing all phenomena as dreamlike, as illusion-like, then gradually we can uproot our afflictions, purify our minds, become liberated from suffering totally, achieving the state of nirvana. And even further, we can achieve the state of full awakening by also eliminating all the mental veils that separate us from the state of a Buddha. the state of omniscience, eliminating all the cognitive veils. And then by becoming a Buddha, knowing perfectly how to guide sentient beings unmistakenly. Let us try to generate this most beautiful mind of bodhicitta, wishing to achieve awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Not leaving even one single insect aside, embracing all sentient beings. Wishing, may I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And with this motivation in mind, let us turn to the Medicine Buddha practice. Here at Tushita we have the booklet, and online I will share my screen. We can turn to page 7. And the sadhana, the practice, starts with a visualization of Medicine Buddha. Here at Tushita we have a photo. You can have a look how Medicine Buddha looks if you have not seen before. And I will describe how to visualize him. We can try to visualize him above the crown of our heads, about 6 inches tall. His body made of light, radiant blue light, a hollow body. He's seated on a moon disk, and the moon disk is placed on a beautiful lotus flower. And this Medicine Buddha is the manifestation of my Guru, the Dharmakaya essence of all the Buddhas who manifest in this form to benefit me and all sentient beings. He radiates beautiful blue light. His right hand is in the mudra of granting sublime realization. And his right hand rests on his right knee and holds the stem of an arura plant between his thumb and first finger. His left hand is in the mudra of concentration, the dhyana mudra, and that left hand holds a lapis lazuli bowl filled with nectar, a healing nectar, medicine. He is seated in the full Vajra position, and he is wearing the 3 red-colored robes of a monk. He has all the signs and qualities of a Buddha. Try to visualize as best as you can throughout the practice, maintaining the awareness of your Guru, taking this appearance of Medicine Buddha above the crown of your head, about 6 inches tall, body made of radiant blue light. And he is coming in this aspect to benefit you and all sentient beings. Then we can recite together at the middle of page 7, taking refuge in generating bodhicitta and the 4 immeasurable thoughts. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By my practice of giving and other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that is without suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from both attachment and hatred, holding some close and others distant. Especially for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will quickly, very quickly, attain the precious state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. For this reason, I will practice the yoga method of Guru Medicine Buddha. Now we'll engage in the practice of the 7 limbs. The 7 limbs is an incredible tool for us to purify a lot of negative karmas and accumulate a lot of positive potential to transform our minds very quickly. So by just, doing these 7 simple meditations while we read these words, this short prayer, in just a few seconds we can accumulate and purify so much. So we'll just pause at the end of every sentence to contemplate on the meaning of what we have just read. I prostrate to Guru Medicine Buddha. So there we can contemplate on the meaning of prostrating to the Buddha, to the Guru. Basically, why we are prostrating, what does it mean? Is that we recognize that the Medicine Buddha has achieved that state that we want to achieve, a state free from all the afflictions, free from any kind of pain, and even free from any kind of mental veil, a blissful state of awakening. So by prostrating, we are basically saying, may I also achieve that state. And we can visualize prostrating with countless bodies, as vast as we can visualize. The second one, each and every offering, including those actually performed here and those mentally transformed, I present to you. So we can try to visualize as extensively as we can all the offerings that are arranged here. We have water bowls, lights, incense, food, drinks, flowers, and so on and so forth. All the offerings that are arranged. We can imagine now in Bodh Gaya, around the Bodhi tree and the Mahabodhi Stupa, how many offerings of water, flowers, and so forth are arranged here, lights. You can try to also imagine all the offerings that are arranged at other holy stupas, such as in the Kathmandu Valley, the Bodhanath Stupa, Swayambhunath Stupa, all the monasteries, all the other Dharma centers throughout the world. Transforming these offerings into oceans, mountains, clouds, skies of blissful nectar, and offering this blissful nectar to countless Buddhas. A set of these clouds, skies of blissful nectar to each and every single Buddha. And because there are countless Buddhas, our offerings becomes numberless, and thereby the merit, the positive potential we accumulate also becomes numberless. And then the third limb, opening our heart further by confessing I confess all non-virtuous actions accumulated since beginningless time. Confessing with a sense of healthy regret, meaning we recognize that in the past we have engaged in negative actions. And what we mean by regret here is not wanting to experience the suffering result of those negative actions. Every action we engage in will inevitably ripen in pain or pleasure, depending on the kind of action we have engaged in. So when we open our heart and recognize we have engaged in negative actions in the past, with a healthy sense of regret, I don't want to experience suffering in the future. I want to purify those negative karmas. I don't want to engage in those negative karmas anymore. And in the fourth limb, I rejoice in the virtues of both ordinary and noble beings. With Lama Zopa Rinpoche, every time we would engage in a practice like this, in a sadhana, Rinpoche would make sure, we always stop for rejoicing, not necessarily for the other limbs, but for rejoicing we'd always take a moment, because of the power of the mind of rejoicing. In just a few seconds, by rejoicing in the good actions of others, we accumulate so much positive potential to transform our minds. It's incredible. So we can think and rejoice in all the deeds of Buddha Shakyamuni 2500 years ago. We can also rejoice in all the holy actions of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who is about to turn 90 years old and is still constantly, tirelessly working for the benefit of others. He just spent 1.5 months in South India, meeting thousands and thousands and thousands of people who wanted to see him. All the projects that he has started and is overseeing around the world, all the teachings that he gave for all these many decades, tirelessly. We can rejoice in all the actions of our teachers, gurus, lamas, virtuous friends. We can rejoice in the activities of the ordained Sangha, who made the choice to dedicate their whole life to study, contemplation, meditation, offering service, helping others. Doing a retreat or studying, offering service at monasteries, dharma centers. We can rejoice in all the good actions of our friends and family members. And let us also take a moment to rejoice in our own good actions. And then the fifth and sixth limb with the next sentence. As our guide, I request you, O Buddha, to please abide well and turn the wheel of Dharma until samsara ends. So there we can visualize offering beautiful thrones to our gurus, thrones endowed with double vajras symbolizing indestructibility, immortality, requesting them to have a long life, to remain with us, to continue to guide us, and offering beautiful Dharma chakras, Dharma wheels, requesting them to teach, requesting them to guide us out of samsara. And finally, the seventh limb. All virtues, both my own and those of others, I dedicate to the ripening of the two bodhicittas and the attainment of Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. So with the 6 limbs that we just meditated on right now, we have accumulated a lot of positive potential. And it is said that just one moment of anger, a tiny moment, a fraction of a second of anger, has the potential to destroy eons of positive potential we have accumulated. So dedicating the merits, dedicating the virtues properly towards full awakening, towards Buddhahood, is a little bit like putting your cash into the bank so that when you run into a thief, he cannot take the cash from you. The money is stored in the bank. Similarly, when we dedicate our virtues, our merits, our positive potential towards full awakening, then anger cannot destroy that. Then we turn to page 9. And we can read together. I beseech you, Bhagavan, medicine guru, whose kite-colored holy body of lapis lazuli signifies omniscient wisdom and compassion, as vast as limitless space, please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate medicine guru, who hold in your right hand the king of medicines, symbolizing your vow to help all pitiful sentient beings, plagued by the 424 diseases, please grant me your blessings. I beseech you, compassionate medicine guru, who hold in your left hand a bowl of nectar, symbolizing your vow to give the glorious undying nectar of the Dharma that eliminates the generations of sickness, old age, and death. Please grant me your blessings. Then we'll turn to the simplified visualization on page 14. So we'll have more time to accumulate more mantras, mantra recitation of Medicine Buddha. So maintaining the visualization of Guru Medicine Buddha above the crown of our head, we'll recite this request 7 times. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings, no rapine for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings, no rapine for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings, no rapine for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings, no rapine for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings, no rapine for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May your vow to benefit all sentient beings, no rapine for myself and others. The fully realized destroyer of all defilements, fully completed Buddha having fully realized the absolute truth of all phenomena, Guru Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light, to you I prostrate, go for refuge and make offerings. May I vow to benefit all sentient beings, no weapon for myself and others. Now we'll engage in the mantra recitation. And as we recite the mantra of Guru Medicine Buddha, try to visualize as best as you can Medicine Buddha above the crown of your head, and from his heart, from his holy body, purifying rays of light pour down as you recite the mantra. And these rays of light eliminate your sicknesses, eliminate your afflictions, eliminate spirit harm, eliminate the causes of our sufferings, eliminate all our negative karmas and mental obscurations. Our body becomes completely filled with light and becomes clean, clear, like crystal. While we recite the mantra, try to visualize this as best as you can. These purifying rays of light coming down from the heart of Guru Medicine Buddha above the crown of your head, entering your body and filling your body entirely, purifying negative karmas, obscurations, and so forth. And visualize your body becoming clean, clear like crystal as you recite the mantra. And then as you keep reciting the mantra, visualize that from your body that has become clean, clear like crystal, rays radiate out in all directions from your own body, purifying the sicknesses and afflictions of all sentient beings. Try to visualize as best as you can as you recite the mantra. The mantra is on page 13, the page just before. And I think we can recite the mantra for about 10 minutes, perhaps. We'll chant it once together, out loud, and then, because we all have different rhythms, different speeds, we'll recite at our own pace in silence, just making sure there is at least some wind coming out of our mouth. And we'll read the middle mantra once, then the short mantra once together, and then we keep on reciting the short mantra for 10 minutes. Om Namo Bhagavate Beganse Guru Bedurya Prabharajaya Tathagataya Arhate Samya Sambuddhaya Deyada Om Beganse Maha Beganse Raja Samurgare Swaha Deyada Om Beganse Maha Beganse Raja Samurgare Swaha Deyada. Tiada Om Begonze Begonze Maha Begonze Raja Samurga Swa. Then we can turn to page 14 again. Towards the bottom, visualizing that Guru Medicine Buddha above the crown of our heads melts into light. And visualize that this light absorbs into your heart. This light enters through the crown of your head and comes down to your heart and absorbs at your heart. And thereby your mind becomes completely one with the mind of Guru Medicine Buddha and the mind of all the Buddhas, the Dharmakaya, the essence of all the Buddhas. Try to imagine for a moment what it must be like to have your body, speech and mind transformed into the body, speech and mind of a Buddha, of an awakened being. A state free from any pain, any fear, any suffering. A state of bliss. A state of omniscience. Knowing perfectly all phenomena simultaneously, the past, the present, the future. Imagine what it must be like. A state of perfect love, constantly having to mind all sentient beings, wanting to benefit them, wanting to guide them, wanting to liberate them from their own mental prison. The mind of the Buddha constantly apprehending all phenomena as being empty of objective existence, empty of inherent, intrinsic, independent existence. Try to imagine what it must be like. And with this awareness of all phenomena being devoid of intrinsic nature, let us dedicate the merits, let us dedicate the positive potential that we have accumulated by doing this practice. We can read together at the bottom of page 14 the dedication verses. Due to these merits, may I complete the ocean-like actions of the sons of the victorious ones. May I become the holy savior, refuge and helper for sentient beings who have repeatedly been kind to me in past lives. By the virtues received from attempting this practice, may all living beings who see me, hear, touch or remember me, even those who merely say my name, in that very moment may they be released from their miseries and experience happiness forever. As all sentient beings, infinite as space, are encompassed by Guru Medicine Buddha's compassion, may I too become the guide for sentient beings existing throughout all 10 directions of the universe. Because of these virtues, may I quickly become Guru Medicine Buddha and lead each and every sentient being into his enlightened realm. Now we can turn to the long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Yeah, maybe we can read together. Otherwise, there are extra copies just next to you, actually, on this speaker. Yeah, okay. So, requesting His Holiness the Dalai Lama to have a long and healthy life, to stay with us, to continue to guide us, continue to benefit us, continue to teach, continue to bless us for a very long time. His Holiness often says that he has, dreams and signs that he will live up to 110 years, so 20 years more. But actually, it depends on us, If we follow his advice, if we put his teachings into practice, then he has a reason, to continue guiding us. If we don't practice, if we don't apply the teachings, then so let us pray that His Holiness remains. We can read in English towards the bottom of the page. Incomparably kind and supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, may you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Then we can turn to the swift return prayers for Lama Zopa Rinpoche. We'll read the first one. So, just in case some of you are not aware, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, he was the founder of this place, Tushita, as well as the whole foundation for the preservation of the Mahayana tradition. So Tushita here is just one of about 130 centers, projects, and services around the whole world, actually. And this is a small city center, but they also have huge centers. For example, in Dharamshala, we have a big Tushita center there. And so he co-founded these centers with Lama Yeshe. And Lama Zopa Rinpoche, about 2 years ago, showed the aspect of passing away. And in the Tibetan culture, it is a tradition to search for the reincarnation of such enlightened masters. For example, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, is known as the 14th Dalai Lama, the 14th incarnation of the Dalai Lama. So similarly, we are praying for Rinpoche, to come back in a fresh body and to continue with that fresh body to teach, guide us, and also lead the organization. So the prayer we are going to read is actually composed by His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness composes prayer immediately for us to, pray for Rinpoche to come back soon. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyekya Buddhas, victorious Losong father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow the virtue and goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings, true explanation and practice, you wore the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious one's teachings, the sole gateway through which all benefit and happiness emerge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss! Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the ocean of the three jewels, and the great waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of a reincarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Let us also dedicate whatever virtues we have accumulated here, as well as all the virtues we have accumulated in the three times, and all the virtues the Buddhas have accumulated in the three times, and the virtues all sentient beings have accumulated in the three times, so that the wars that are happening around the world immediately come to an end. May there be no new war. May there be no famine. May there be no epidemic. May there be no natural catastrophes, disasters of the elements. And may peace and happiness prevail in everybody's hearts and lives. Thank you very much for joining this evening, in person and online.
Thank you.
And yes, hopefully your grandmother will feel better, and oh, sorry, your mother, your grandmother, and Divya's grandmother might have a good rebirth soon, and Venerable Ingrid and Adriana. Thank you very much for joining. And I will see you on Friday. Friday is the first day of Losar. Losar is the Tibetan New Year. And on Losar also, 41 years ago, Lama Yeshe showed the aspect of passing away. So every year on Losar, we try to, remember Lama Yeshe, especially for, new people like me who have not met him. I think I was not even born. So we have requested 3 students who had met Lama Yeshe in the 70s, or early 80s, to come and talk about him, and share stories. So this is happening Friday at 6:30 p.m. and online as well. And then Sunday we continue the Dharma talks with Venerable Gyalten Samten. Maybe some of you know her. She's an Indian nun. And she used to be, before she became a nun, she used to be a Bollywood actress, actually, quite famous. And she decided, to give up that life and turn to the Dharma and dedicate her time to the study and practice. So she's giving talks. She used to actually work here in the past. Then she did a 4 years solitary retreat in the mountains, and she just came out. And then we requested her, to come and share her knowledge with us. So this is Sunday at 11:30 a.m. third session. Thank you very much, and see you soon. And of course, as usual, we have our morning meditations happening 9 to 9:30 a.m. online. And tomorrow as well, we have also an online session in the evening, which is a debate class. The debate is what the monks are doing. They are comparing the Buddha's view with other views, and to improve, their knowledge. So this is happening online every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Thank you.